So in this video, we're going to draw orthographic views from isometric figures. Now on the left side here of the screen, we have three orthographic views. Now what orthographic views are? They are the straight-on views that you would see of a figure or an object. So if we're looking at this object here on the right side, we can see that this part comes across flat, comes up to this curve, and then we're going to see this flat right side. So if we had to do an isometric view of this right side, which is labeled here as the front elevation, we would draw a line across 48. Then we would draw the 18 that is here. And then there's a 46 for the middle, and then 18 and 48 again. So I'm going to put in the 46. I'll just draw up a line there at any measurement. And I'll put in the 18. And then another 48. Now for this figure, it has a height here of 18. So this little piece here comes up at 18. So I'm going to draw straight up here 18. And I'll just draw this line long across. Now because I put all of the measurements into this baseline, I only have to project the left side of this line up to make the other side. So I'm going to trim off this piece. Now remember that when I was drawing it, I drew the right side of this 46 straight up. Let me check this line to make sure it's 46. Okay, so that's correct. So I'll draw up the left side of it at 46 as well. I'll just draw it out randomly to a measurement. So the point that we're making here with this drawing is we're only drawing this front elevation, which is the right side. So over here it has that to come up to the center, there's a 32. So I'm now going to use the offset tool, type in offset, enter, type 32, and we're going to click this bottom line here, left click, and then pull it up. So that measurement should give us 32 going upwards. So that is correct. And now we're going to proceed to draw the two curves that are on that. So the first curve is a diameter of 46. Half of 46 is 23. And then so we're going to start with that first, go to the middle of it, and put in our 23, and it should meet flush with the end. Now I can add the two 18s to the 46. That will give me 40, 50, 60, 76 and 6, 82. Or I can just project up the 18 here. Remember I measured across here at 18. So let me dimension that. So the 18 measurement is here already. I can just draw this up, 32. And then I can draw a circle to that point. And that would still have the 18 measurement that is projected from below. Alright, so this view is finished. And the only thing that is missing here is this right side. So there should be another 18 down here. That's it, and it comes straight up, so it meets that point. So with orthographic projection, you only draw the elevations or the sides of the object. You do not draw the majority of the object, the whole object, like the isometric projection, which we are seeing here on the left. So we're going to draw the end view now. Now the end view is not indicated on the question, but you have to know that if I can see the right side of the object here, like the front view, I should be able to see the left side of the object here, and a view looking down at the top. So we're going to proceed to draw the left side of the object, which comprises this little rectangle, this slot in the middle, and then we're going to say a bigger rectangle for the top. Now, one thing that I always tell my students is you draw in the direction of the arrow. So this front elevation, we are looking to the left. So this front elevation here on my drawing would be on the left side of the end. How do I know the end view is going to go to the right? I have to look to the right to see the end. So I would project my end across to the right. So here I'm just going to draw a line long. That's a straight line across long. And I have to decide a distance between the two views. Now I usually measure 15 or 20, but for this I'm just going to draw a line. So this space here is the space between the two elevations. And from here now, I'm going to begin to make my end view. So with my end view, when I look at this right side of the figure, I can see that the top point here aligns with this piece. So if I had to project this point across, I already have the height 18 of this end view. So from here, I project that across. Let's say touch this piece. Now the measurements here are 23, 24, 23. So I come across 23, draw the line down, line again, 24, draw the line down, and then I come again and I'm drawing 23 across, and I draw the line down. So where did these three measurements come from? They came from these pieces here, 23, 24 is the space, 23 across. So the top piece now has to line up with the top of the front view. So I bring a line from the top of the front, I draw it across long. And as we did before, we have here the left side of the end and the right side of the end. So these are two lines that would come straight up to meet the top. So all I need to do is draw this line here straight up to meet the top, and this end view is finished. There is a hidden detail line that is missing from the bottom here, so I'll draw that in. Because this little cut underneath, the curve underneath, we're not going to see that curve from outside, but you still have to show that curve. So I'm going to draw the line across, and then just make this line here hidden detail. So that is my end view of the figure. There are a few hidden detail lines missing from the front view, but we will get to that. Now, when I go to make the plan view is the view looking down at the figure. So we need to switch our tracking settings, our polar settings to 45. We come from the bottom right of the figure and we draw a 45-degree line. Just a long 45-degree line. From here, we have most of the measurements of this figure here in the front view and the end view. So we do not really need to measure this plan view. So I'm going to draw the body of the plan first. Now the plan is looking down. So we're going to see like this C part here on the left. We're going to see a rectangle here in the middle, and we're going to see another C on the right. So the first C is here, the flat rectangle is going to be here, and the second C is here. But we need to project down our end view, past the 45, back up to the 45, and then draw across at 0 or 180. Come from the right side, down straight, where it touches the 45-degree line, and then we draw that line across straight. So now I'm going to trim and clean up. So with this line here, we have to make sure that the line touches, it hits the 45. So that is now projected across correctly. And that gave us the width of the plan view. So we need to draw now the length of the plan view downwards. So for the front view, this gives us the length. So I draw this line straight down. Draw down the right side straight down. So now I have the outer shape of my plan view. So this is my plan view here, this rectangle. Now what is missing? The easy thing that is missing is this curve. When we look down at this figure, we're going to see like a rectangular portion from this curve. So in drawing the plan, we project this line straight down, project down this right side straight down, and that is our center part that has in the rectangle. So remember, there's a part here with a little C in it that comes across 25. We have not put in that measurement. So what I'm going to do is I'll put in that 25 now. Now that 25 is the center of each of these two curves. Curve to the left, curve to the right. So I'm going to offset 25, and I offset from the left, and I offset from the right. So that 25 is a center line. That is a center line for the two curves that are there. So I'm going to change this layer to a center line now. And then I would bring down the two construction lines of the piece here. Remember, it hits the 45 and then you bring it straight across. Bring it down to hit the 45 and then pull it straight across. What is this piece that I brought downwards? I brought down this 24 slot, because when we look at the plan view, this 24 slot that is here is what we're going to see the curve in. So that is why I projected down the left and the right. All I need to do now is the little curve that's in the middle. Now the drawing does not have all of the measurements. There's some measurements missing, but they're enough for us to draw it. They did not tell us the radius of this curve, but we know the diameter of this curve because from left to right of the circle is 24. So the radius of this curve is 12. So what we will do is we draw a line here, a middle line or center line. I'm just going to draw this center line long. And where this center line hits the vertical center lines, let's just test it to see if it's correct. It should be radius 12. And if it is radius 12, it's going to hit the purple line above it. So it hits it flush. So that means it's correct. So I just trim the ends. And then I come over to this side. Radius, let's see if it's correct, 12. And it hits the two ends perfectly. So now this is the figure. I'm going to put in this center line here, change this to a center line. And what is missing is the hidden detail from this cutout here is missing. So if you look at it, there's a vertical line here, but this does not line up with anything down here. That tells us that there's a hidden detail missing. So I bring this line down, bring this piece down, and those are our two hidden detail lines. From here, I'm going to change the layers. There's still one or two more lines that I need to do, but it's very important to use the correct layers when you're drawing. A solid line needs to be an outline. And even though you can start with your construction lines, it is important to always remember to change the layers as you come down to the end. So these need to be outlines. And I'm going to change these ones to outlines as well. So what is missing? We're missing the hidden detail for this piece. So everything must line up. The left side should line up here to the left side, that's correct. This point lines up. You always need to make sure that they line up. So you realize there's nothing here for this. In the front view, we would see the hidden detail for that line. So I'm going to project that upwards. And now, here's the hidden. So what is missing? We're missing some center lines in the drawing. So whenever you have a circle, you must put in center lines. Whenever you have a circle. So we're going to come here. Should have a horizontal center line here. Now I need to label these views front view, end view, and plan view, but I'm not going to label them for the sake of the drawing. I also need to trim this piece because this piece is not there. And what I can do is I can put back in my projection lines so that I can make sure that the drawing is correct. So we're just going to do one more. So here's my front view, my end view, and my plan view. And from here, we're going to do a second question.